Hello there, good morning with Highwayman. My name's Jason.
Buongiorno a tous. My name's Steve. How lovely to see you all again. Thank you for joining us. Jay, what are we going to rip apart today, mate?
Well, today, mate, we're talking about our tech and how it's spying on us. The British government have just banned the use of TikTok on anyone who works in the government to have it on their phones, which begs the question is, how private, how much privacy do we have and how much is our tech spying on us? And I think it's a lot.
And I'm with you on this 100%. It's got to be. And you know what? I would never have one of these. Are they called Alexas or something like that people love? I'd never have one in the house. I vaguely remember a court case. It actually worked in the guy's favour. He'd been accused of murder. It was quite a serious thing.
Yeah.
And anyway, he didn't really have an alibi and all the other bits and pieces. And as it happened, it must have been the FBI trawled through the Alexa stuff, and there was recordings of him. He didn't ask it to record. It proved that he was in the house at the time of the murder. Therefore, he couldn't have done the murder.
Have you read that in the paper, or have you just heard that as like an urban myth?
Do you know what? I heard that a long time ago, and genuinely I can't remember.
Because I've got
probably read it somewhere.
I've got 4 Alexas, and I've kind of gone through the tried to find out about what Alexa records, and apparently it only stores the last 30 seconds of speech, as far as I'm aware. But however, they are now. You've been to my house, haven't you? So I've got on the back of my house, I've got a very long room, which is 40 foot long, and it's got one on the left, far left, and one on the far right. Now, and I've also got one now. As you come in my hall, I've got with all the doors closed, I've got a little room on the left. It's got one in there, and I've got the 2 in the rooms at the back. If I stand in my hall with my doors closed and say, "Hey Alexa," it can hear me. That's how sensitive it is. So so because sometimes I arm the cameras as I leave, and the doors are closed. I forgot to put the cameras on, and I'll be Alexa on the cameras, and that's how sensitive it is. So it can pick up pretty much anything, even a room away with the door closed. So it is listening to everything. But as I say, when I bought the first one, which is a few years ago now, I believed that it was only recording the last 30 seconds. But you know as well as I do, you only have to think about buying something, and all of a sudden it appears on your devices.
How does that happen?
Yeah,
I know.
It's almost like it's mind reading. I'll tell you what struck me, when it first really occurred to me, is it was quite a few years ago now, and I'd been to Lincoln, and I came back, and
it's a good story.
Yeah, and I came back, and I had an email from TripAdvisor, and I had TripAdvisor on my phone saying, "Hope you enjoyed your time in Lincoln. Did you visit any of these attractions?" And I'm like, "What?" And I instantly went through my phone and noticed location service was on TripAdvisor. So it knew everywhere that I'd gone, and it obviously wanted me to see if I'd gone in. And that really quite scared me. Not that I was doing anything I shouldn't be, but it scared me to think that everything I was doing was being tracked. And there is we all have a profile that gets sold to these companies. I mean, only this week I was on Facebook, and I saw one of those like fragrance ads, the ones where they do like the knockoff fragrances, because there's an aftershave I quite like. I quite like the smell of Creed, and it's about £300 a bottle. And I thought, well, I'm not spending £300 on a bottle. And I just thought, what if they do one like Creed? Anyway, I just clicked on the one ad, and I tell you what, I have been inundated with aftershave ads everywhere I am online at the moment. Like for the last 3 or 4 days, every single thing I have is aftershave ad. It's crackers.
It is crackers. Absolutely. It is. And why though? So then you're going to beg the question, why is the need felt that they have to track us? It can't be just for marketing purposes. I don't believe that. There's got to be a reason why people want to know where we are, what we're doing, what we're buying, what we're smelling like.
It builds up a profile. If you're the sort of person that will buy, let's use aftershave as an example, then, some people have things, they collect, I don't know, figurines or action men or guns if you're in America, you know. So all these, so everything you see is, you know, if they show an advert for a gun, for argument's sake, for me and for you, we're living in England, we aren't going to buy it, are we? We're not going to buy it. There's no point wasting the 20 pence or whatever it is to advertise, or quid to advertise that gun to us, because we're just not going to buy it. Whereas if you're American who has, you know, because the people have collections of guns, you know, we've done our first video we did on gun control, but you know, that's what people. So if you're someone who will randomly buy guns because you just like having them, you know, or handbags, or it could be anything, then if they know your thing is handbags, okay, guns, whatever, then you keep getting these ads for, oh, I like the look of that, yeah, I like that one, you know, I like that one. So they do, you know, we are susceptible to be targeted by the things we want to buy. And we're more, bear in mind as well, things like Facebook, you know, they get paid per click. You know, when I've advertised on Facebook before, I mean, years ago, it's like 20p a click. They're paying like £1 a click these days. So, you know, £1 a click. So if I'm likely to click on something because it's of interest to me, even if I don't buy it, they've generated £1 in revenue. So building up a profile of your purchasing habits is worthwhile, you know. So yeah, it is a marketing act. So they want to know what you do. And talk about the TikTok thing that's obviously been banned. Now, I saw a Joe Rogan program the other day, and he was saying he went through the terms and conditions of TikTok, and one of the things in their terms and conditions is they will monitor your keyboard activity, basically the keys that you press. So even though you're using like something like WhatsApp that's supposed to be secure, you're still typing. So if I type a message to you, I've got TikTok on it. They can see the message I'm typing to you. They can't see the message you type back to me, but they can see all the messages that I'm typing. So so there is an online build-up of who you are.
I mean, it's awful. I honestly do, Joe. Do you know what? I would love to go back to the days where there was no mobile phones. And
I probably agree with you. Well, the old-fashioned mobile phones are very useful, but the other thing that makes me really think about this is, imagine this technology was around in 1930s, 40s Germany.
Oh God, yeah.
You know, I mean, how different would it be? Because, you know, spying on the people, finding out what they're doing would have been easy. Find who they are, where they are, tracking them.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean,
I do turn a lot of my location services off on things that I don't need. You know, things like obviously like sat nav and stuff. You need to have them on.
Here's the biggest irony. Tell me the last time you actually made a phone call from your phone.
Yesterday.
Oh, okay.
I don't use. I'll be honest with you. Apart from work related, I don't very often make calls from my phone at all. I don't even text that often, really. You know, I don't really text because now everyone's on Facebook. You know what everybody's doing. If we're meeting up with mates, it's always a message. We never call each other. You know. No. I mean, I remember when we had the first text phones, and it was probably the time when you and I were working together. And I just thought to myself, this will never catch on. You know, what's the point of texting someone when you know? But then in those days, you had to press the same button 4 or 5 times to get.
Yes, you did, didn't you? The ABC was the #1 key.
Yeah, so it's a lot more time consuming. And if you made a mistake or went through too quickly, then you have to go back, and it was a lot more time consuming. So I always thought, you know, it would never catch on. People would much rather just make a quick phone call. But you know how that's changed. But yeah, so we're being so. And the other thing is, I've got the Apple Watch, so constantly satellite tracked, so they know exactly where I am, because you've got satellite technology in those. It knows whether I'm an active person, whether I'm not an active person, you know, how many calories a day I'm burning, whether I'm walking a lot, whether I'm, you know, running, doing any exercise. So it knows all about me. So somewhere, and if you work within the advertising industry, you know, you're going to know whether this data is available. Let us know, you know, how much of a profile have we got? What could you actually find out about us if you really wanted to? Let us know if you're watching and you know. Let us know, because I'm interested to know.
Yeah. So why do you think the government has taken this step then to actually ban TikTok accounts from?
Well, I wonder if it's actually the keystroke thing, the fact that, you know, none of your text messages are secure. That's what I think it is. Yeah, apparently it's one of the most intrusive. It's one of the most intrusive apps of all. You know.
And who owns it? What country owns TikTok?
China.
Say no more.
Yeah.
Say no more.
Yeah.
There you are.
So, you know, any government, I mean, you obviously, we've had all this with Matt Hancock with his WhatsApp messages. You know, if he's got TikTok on his phone and he's writing messages, at least half of them are getting received and seen. So, you know, none of the secrets are safe, really, are they?
No, not at all. And you made an interesting point. You said, what if this technology was around, you know, in Germany in the 30s and 40s? But the reality is, here we are. It's not on our doorstep, thank God, at the moment. But we are in a war zone, and the reality is, China is building itself up to become a superpower.
Yeah.
And the reality is, we've got all this stuff going on. So it is still very much current. It's just the technology has shifted. So we are still playing this cat and mouse game. But of course, everything's just shifted up a few gears from an Enigma machine to being able to listen in on a simple basis. So the next step is to counteract that, I suppose. And where does it end?
Yeah, I mean, you know, there's always the possibility of another Hitler. I mean, we've got this scenario with Putin now. I mean, obviously, you know, they got rid of all the czars and everything, and went for, you know, a democracy as such. But now you know, last
How's that
fight,
working out for you?
well, he was voted in for 20 years, wasn't he? He changed the constitution of Russia or whatever, and he got voted in for 20 years. And I wonder what's going to happen when he gets towards the end of his life, whether it's going to be passed down to a member of his family or whatever. You know, I don't know how it will work in Russia. I don't know what's going to happen with him, but there's always the possibility of another.
Just on an aside,
sorry.
Just on an aside, there, I saw, I read today that there's a warrant out for his arrest.
Yeah, good luck with Dog the Bounty Hunter. That's what they need. Yeah. They need Dog the Bounty Hunter on it. He'll do it. He'll blind him. He'll get his pepper spray out, and he'll have him.
Should we step up to the plate on that one, Jay? What do you reckon?
What, going over to Russia to arrest Putin?
Yeah.
I don't think we'd get very far, would we?
I don't think we would.
I think with some of the videos we've done, we'd be stopped at border control and not allowed in.
And not allowed back out.
Don't want those reprobates. Don't want those reprobates in. My God.
Shove them on a boat. Rwanda for you two. Off you pop.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we would be. We would be. Jesus Christ. Yeah, no, I mean, it's one of those ridiculous things, isn't it? The warrant for his arrest. I mean, he's not going to step out of Russia, is he? You know, not anytime soon. It's just a waste of paper. It's just another news. It's just another news headline, really, isn't it? It's just something else for us to say, and another thing to kind of. I mean, I bet he's sitting there reading it, laughing his head off.
I bet he is.
But there you go. But yeah, you know, yeah. I mean, Russia's a prime country. If you watch the videos on, if you look on YouTube, that they go around asking people what they think about the war in Ukraine, and you can tell the ones that aren't, you know, understand the situation, but they won't speak on camera, because they get taken off, you know.
Yeah.
And again, I imagine that anything they put on their phones is being monitored.
Oh, it's bound to be.
I'd guess.
Hugely bound to be.
You know.
So when we encapsulate this, we're out in a nutshell. So all of this stuff is meant to be designed to make our lives easier, more fruitful, better, and everything else. And now we discover it's been, I suppose, suspected or known for a little while that maybe they're not everything they're creating. They're devices for spying on us. The intrusive. You may as well have someone hanging over your shoulder permanently everywhere you go. When you go to the toilet, you go and do whatever. You've got someone looking over your shoulder. How does that make you feel?
Well, to be honest, I just think about. Well, to be honest with you, yeah. How does it make you feel? I mean, for me personally, I think, you know, I've got nothing to hide as such. I am just a number, you know, 1 in 80 million people in the UK, not doing anything much dissimilar to anybody else. So I'm not overly bothered. But you know, if the government, if advertising companies have got access to my information, the government have got advertising, you know, access to that information. Employers have got access to that information. You know, so that is it, really. I mean, the only other option is to go completely social media free, which I could do it. I do.
You do
In
it
fact,
for spurts, don't you? You do it for spurts. You can walk away from your Facebook account, stuff like that, for a while, and
I
have
have
a
done
few
before,
weeks off.
but to be honest with you, the last time I got away from Facebook, my wife was like, "Well, we're on holiday, and we're going to tag you. Can't not tag you in the photos. It seems not weird going away and not. Oh, okay, I'll join back up there." So it's one of them.
You've become sufficient. You become reliant on it.
Yeah, and the other thing is, I am very much addicted to my phone and my iPad. Like watching television at night, I sometimes have one eye on the television and one eye on my iPad, either playing games or just what's going on. It's an addiction of picking it up. And in fact, there was a series that I think there was a series on Netflix, and it was some of these top executives who have worked for places like Google and Facebook and places like that, and they were saying that they're noticing their kids how withdrawn from life they've been because they're so intrinsically got their heads into their phones and their iPads. And I think it's fair to say, and I heard someone say the other day that what we are in the West at the moment is we are addicts, and what we're addicts to is we're addicts to attention, and we're all doing stuff. Even this, we've got quite a few new subscribers this week, and we're like, oh great, there's more people watching us. We've got more attention. This is what we want. We want more attention. So we're part of the problem, if you like. And you put a photo on. I mean, you don't post much on social media, but me and the wife do. And, you put a photo on it. Oh, we've got 20 likes. And it's a nice feeling because people enjoyed seeing your photo. And it's a very, very strange thing. But the irony of it is we're addicted to attention from strangers. And what actually ends up happening is we don't end up giving each other attention in person.
That's quite very, very true. Yeah.
I mean, how many parents of young children have spend more time on the phone interacting with the world than actually taking time to do stuff with their kids?
My daughter's a prime example.
Yeah,
absolute prime example of this. So we have to now monitor the hours that she does have a phone and when she can't have a phone.
Yeah,
because it was getting to a point where actual real life was non-existent.
Yeah,
and it was all done. But her friends are all the same. So their idea of getting together isn't in a room together or going into the town and going and doing something.
It's on a chat.
It's just it's on a group chat. When they do make the effort, and I've got to say that's normally been driven by one of us parents somewhere along the line, forcing them to do so. They have a great time.
Yeah,
they really enjoy it, but they wouldn't dream of being able to set that up themselves without some form of an intervention. And the other thing that I've noticed is, certainly with my daughter, her face-to-face social skills are just almost non-existent.
Really?
In fact, she even thinks twice before going into a shop because she might have to actually talk to somebody.
Really? Yeah, they get this kind of social anxiety, don't they? I did notice it a little bit with mine. But the other thing is if there's any beef going on, they don't switch off from it. I've got mine who had a little bit of a fallout the other day, and she's got this text message, and she said, "Dad, what do you think?" And this is what she wrote in the text, and this is what I wrote. I said, "Speak to her, because you never understand the tone of a text. Do you?"
Absolutely perfect. Absolutely perfect. You're dead right. It can be, so fuck you. Fuck you.
Yeah.
Fuck you.
Yeah.
But it's how you construed it when you read it.
Yes.
And that's another thing. Again, trying to get her to actually phone somebody and talk to them.
Yeah.
You may as well try and herd cats. It's unbelievable. Yeah.
Yeah, I think people are sorry. And walking on the street, you watch people walking on the street buried in their phones. They're not even observing what's going on around them. And I think the thing that really pisses me off is when I'm in the gym and people on the phones in between their sets. And I'm like, I need to use that machine. And they're not like, because normally you wait about a minute between each set when you're doing it, when you're working out. And then sat there, and I was in there one day I went off and I did waiting for this machine. And these lads were on the phones. And then I'd even done one set. I'd done 4 in the time that they because they're just sitting there buried in their phones, more interested in what's going on away from where they are and not concentrating really on what they're doing. And we're all guilty of it. Like I said to you, I sit watching television. Some days I'll purposely not take them in the room with me because I know then if they're not there, I don't get that habit of just picking up and looking. Yeah. I'm not looking for anything. You know.
No, it's there, so therefore you're going to pick it up and use it.
Yeah, you know, I wonder if Steve's messaged me about tomorrow. Like last night, I did have a look to see if he messaged me about today. But if you did, it could have waited. You know what I mean? I didn't need to look. You know what I mean? It's one of those things you just keep checking and checking, and you know, it's just a habit. It's just a habit picking up. But anyway, we've got off the subject a little bit. So spying. So yeah, we agree with being spied on. Very intrusive. The only thing we could do about it, and I have thought about this. I've actually got an old style phone here that literally just does text and phones, and I have thought before about ditching my iPhone and just going for something so that people can get in touch with me.
Will your SIM fit in that one? Can you put it in?
Well, I've got a separate SIM in it. It's actually a dual SIM phone. It can take two in there. So yeah, it will take the SIM in there. No problem at all.
No, your old one. Will your old phone take your modern day SIM?
Yeah. Oh, it's not an old phone. It's a new phone, but it's just a simple phone. It's made. It's actually. It's made for old people. That's why the keys are so big on it. It's actually made for old people that don't want. Yeah. So it's a new.
Got a couple of original ones like that.
Have you really? Yeah.
Yeah.
But
I've got one of my friends with an aerial on it.
Yeah, the SIM probably won't fit in that, but no, that is just literally. I think it's about a 20 quid phone that I bought on Amazon. But yeah, I have thought about just dropping back and just using that one and get rid of my iPhone. But then there's so much I use my phone for, like sat nav and things like that, you know, because it's so much better. So I wouldn't get rid of my iPhone. I'd be very tempted to take the SIM card out of it and not use it at all as a phone. Just literally use it on Wi-Fi when I'm at home, or what's that? Would I need a SIM in the car? I would, wouldn't I? The satellite now. Yeah, so it's a tough one. But yeah, I have thought about that. But you know, if you look, there's loads of videos online of how to protect yourself. You know, taking your location services off, and not accepting cookies when you go onto websites and stuff.
Yeah, I never.
That's the other thing. I've just downloaded another browser called Duck and Go, and what that does is that deletes tracking cookies on it. And I've noticed on that, and at the end of the session, it will tell you we've deleted so many Facebook tracking cookies off this. And I've not even been on Facebook on that browser. You know what I mean? It just tracks it anyway. So yeah, crackers, mate, crackers. So
yeah, it's all too scary. I won't worry too much because fairly soon we're all going to be nuked anyway, or whatever's going to happen.
Well, the aliens are coming. Yeah, the alien mothership's coming in. And if you want to know what that was about, watch last week's video. Yeah.
And they'll all be fried anyway. So the only thing they'll be good for is using a little spade to dig in the dirt to plant something.
Yeah, or put it under your, if you've got a wobbly table, you can just stick it under the table leg. That's what it'll be for. That's what you'll take your phone out with you for, just in case you get a wobbly table.
Yeah, you're spot on with that.
Anyway, thank you very much for watching. Should we wind that one up? I think we should.
Yeah, I think we not much more we can say, but we're both in agreement that absolutely they are a device that is useful. You've been told that it's useful for you, and now when I say you, I'm talking about us.
You need the latest, and you always need the latest one.
Of course you do.
New iPhone phones coming out in April, another £1,000 for you to spend on something.
Can't wait.
Got to have the latest one. You can't have the old one.
No, my God! Otherwise, you're a social pariah.
You need it for exactly the same phone. In fact, I remember one of the iPhones came out. I can't remember which one it was, and they said they were telling people, "We've got the latest iPhone for you to try," and they said, but what we'll do is, if you give us your old phone, we'll just clean it up for you while we're testing the new phone. And basically, what they did is they took their old phone, cleaned it up, and gave it straight back to them. Oh no, they didn't give them the old phone. No, they didn't give them their old phone. They gave them exactly the same phone as they had, but it was just a cleaned up version of exactly the same phone. And they were on it going, "Oh yeah, it's so much faster. It's so much better," and all the rest of it. Yeah, that's a few years ago. I can't remember what model of phone it was now. But the new iPhone came out, and they're all like, "Oh yeah, this is so much better. I can't wait to get one. It's brilliant." Yeah, exactly the same model.
We are mugs, absolute mugs.
We are.
Still, there you go.
Well, thank you for watching. I hope you like the video. Please like, please subscribe, and the most importantly, Steve,
you got to get pressing the old bell end.
Good man. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next time.
Cheers, everybody. Have a great week. See you later.